My father died when I was 9, so I rubbed up against loss and vulnerability really, really young. And I spent an awful lot of my childhood trying to be not vulnerable. And yet, because of that primal wound, I've always had the sense that bad things can happen, and they do happen. And so then I got breast cancer, and I thought, well, how do you like that? So I started this series of boats that were about vulnerability. My name is Stephanie Bedwell, and I'm an artist and a teacher. I love this idea of knitting these skins that were permeable, and they looked like vessels. They looked like functional boats, and yet they're not going to float. They're not going to take you to safety. And you're not going to be able to navigate this world in a boat that doesn't have some kind of vulnerability, because that's the nature, the temporal nature of life. As I made them, I began to realize how they were really a reflection of my inner life. I work a lot with dreams, and so all my art has had to do with me processing some kind of inner dialogue. I have worked, with a Jungian therapist for years and years, where I did drawings of dreams. And then from those drawings, a lot of times I would see archetypal imagery emerge. Stuff that we all recognize: bones, teeth, boats, sprouts, these things, the stuff of life. Like with a ladder, they're often used in my work, has this idea of connection between earth and spirituality. How you can transcend some of the earthly things. How do we connect our earthly life and our spiritual life? Fairly early on, I realized that there was a freedom in making things. I love to scavenge. I like to work with my hands. I like to make stuff. I've got my knife right here, and I go out in the backyard and I just start harvesting, like stripping branches. It's repetitive, but it's really a place of meditation for me. But I also love working with wool. I've been using beeswax a lot lately as a binder. I think that the materials that I use are temporal. They aren't gonna last forever. They're not archival. And that does change my relationship to art. The art world said that real artists made things that were archival. And I really didn't have any interest in making permanent artwork. So it really took me a while until I found material that was more immediate and more ephemeral that worked for me. Now I'm 51 years old, and I'm finally feeling like I can make what I want, even though if you took a match to it, it would all burn up. Well, this piece is one of them that got away from me. I was trying to make a boat that wasn't curvy. I was trying to make it more, boat-like and more functional. But at some point it just twisted. And I turned around and looked back at it, and I thought, oh, it's beautiful how it took on a form that I didn't anticipate. And so, I look at these things, and it's just like life. It just often takes turns that you didn't think it was gonna take. But if you allow it, you get something that's beautiful in its own right. This piece right here is called Fear. I love this piece because I feel like fear hooks you. And so much of fear is being afraid, is being hooked by the fear. You tend to grip and you think, I have to control this. And I realized that was a practice that I have recently really been working on. So it's like a spiritual practice where when the fear comes in, I say, it's okay. It's okay. My mother has dementia. I got breast cancer. I can either be victimized by these things, or I can figure out how to participate fully in life that makes you feel scared and vulnerable. We think that our body is going to be our salvation, or somehow, we're going to get it right and we're going to be fine and not vulnerable. And yet, life will show you differently that you have to somehow exist in that vulnerability.